Hello everybody, my name is Belladine and I will be covering Chapter 8, IPTV Video over the Internet. And just to give you a little bit of outline, I'll be covering what is IPTV and some background information on that, some streaming information, recent developments, the current status of IPTV, and what to watch for with IPTV. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. And let's say, what is IPTV? IPTV, also known as video over the internet, is defined as multimedia services such as television, video, audio, text, graphics, data delivered over IP-based networks managed to support required level of quality of service and quality of experience, providing security, interactivity, and reliability. Wow. So pretty much said, IPTV, in my opinion, I think is certainly something that has changed how we communicate as human beings and how we share our entertainment and also how we teach each other and how we educate one another. I believe IPTV has also completely changed the dimension of how that works. In my opinion, IPTV has probably opened up a little bit more of access to lectures and access to more research information. So it definitely has changed how we teach each other and how we communicate with each other. So how was the IPTV delivered? So how is IPTV delivered? The technology is used through streaming, satellite, wireless, wireline of audio and video, or a variation of sort of that kind. It also extends to all forms of content from TV all the way to your mobile devices and your tablets that you have at home. In my opinion, summarized it, IPTV helps you move from what you traditionally known was the couch when you watch the TV. Now you can go to the kitchen and watch TV, go to the living room and watch TV, go to the library and watch TV, go to your workplace break room and watch TV. Even while you're waiting for your local bus stop taxi, you can still watch TV. IPTV has made that available for you. So IPTV, you might be thinking about the background and how did it even begin? How did it even start? According to the book here, it tells me that IPTV was created to deliver individual video clips, and then later it was for programs and then streaming, which I'll talk about streaming in a little bit. But then you can go ahead and download the content. So historically, cable has been around for generations and generations. But then it transitioned from analog to digital in the 1990s. So currently the state of IPTV reflects how much involvement we've done in the technology aspect of watching TV and in how we deliver, how we receive it, and the capabilities of our networks to communicate between one another. And in the background, as one of the topics in the chapter, one thing that evolved was our use of technology with file sharing, and Napster actually introduced an illegal file sharing program, which everybody did not know, but now knew it was legal. So there was a lot of controversy there. And then YouTube was released with also its own user uploaded video content, which was it was free, it was open, but it was unmonitored, and it caused a lot of other confusion. So in my opinion, I would say the background of IPTV is actually a series of upgrades to our technology, and of course increasing our bandwidth, which allowed more and more people to become more IP video comfortable, to adopt the concept of watching video over the internet. One of the topics in the chapter here is going to be streaming and the concept of streaming. And it's important to know that streaming video is completely different than downloading video, which is completely different from searching and browsing video. So you're looking at YouTube. YouTube, the app itself, doesn't actually stream your video because it's actually a browser-based plugin. So it actually completely plays the video from its own domain, its own website, its own separate server, versus streaming, which also can actually completely get the video from like a Netflix-based server, bring it to your connected device, and then play it off the connected device, but does not actually download it onto the actual device. So it's very important to know the difference between streaming and downloading. It was one of the big points in the topics in this chapter. So when you're looking at streaming, it actually began right around 1995, 1996, when progressive networks launched Real Audio, and then that's when they pioneered the term streaming because it came from a computer-based networks and distribution, and also true streaming is often offered through a special server, which is what I explained earlier in this segment. And it's important to know that IPTV, the streaming portion of it, it has other different ways of getting the satellite, of course, but there's also peer-to-peer, which is a platform that is used by Napster. Now, in my previous example, I told you that Napster was illegal, but that is something that was my opinion. I believe that when you're sharing a file to another file, there might be some copyright infringements there that might cause it to be illegal. So, but peer-to-peer is a form of IPTV. It just may not be, the desired form of streaming. It is the cheapest. It is the cheapest, but it might also have less performance. Let's say that, less performance. And one of the platforms here use P2P, something like Napster file sharing service. Here's a stat. According to Torrent Freak, in 2014, the top 10 P2P includes Pirate Bay, Kickass Torrents, Torrent Z, Extra Torrents, Yiffy Torrents, Easy TV, 1337, BitSnook, Rarbag, and these were all written by Ernesto on January 4th, 2014. And then you got to think about, the IPTV, some of the streaming players that they have, of course, is Roku. We've got Chromecast provided by Google, and you have Apple TV. And all these players actually, they need a subscription to get you those services. And then, of course, you have the Amazon Fire TV, which was introduced in April 2014. One of the popular streaming content providers, Netflix, has caught a lot of people's attention. And Netflix, according in the chapter, says that they started with a VHS mailing service, and then evolved to DVDs, and then they were still mailing DVDs, and then you can get a subscription where you can mail DVDs and get streaming services as part of one package. And there was some backlash because Netflix decided to separate the two, separate the DVD mailing, and then go ahead and do the streaming under a different name brand altogether. And they caught some backlash for this big time, and so that's when Netflix evolved into what it is today. In my opinion, that's actually a great story for Netflix, because you have Netflix that says, okay, you can watch anything you want for as long as you want. Just get it back to us for one monthly fee. Quite an interesting story reading in the book of how the founder of Netflix, he ended up overdoing on a VHS tape that he had, Apollo 13, and he forgot about it, lost it, and he had about a $40 delay fee, and he's trying to figure out how to make this, turn this around for everybody else. And also he had a gym membership, so he wanted to use that concept and that method in the video and entertainment, which evolved into what the IPTV service that they have today. And there are major big companies. So yeah, kudos to him for actually solving something for everybody, and also making entertainment much easier for everybody to enjoy. So then we're moving on to the topic of telco ISP. Telco ISP, what is that? essentially, yes, telephone companies are getting in the game with their own version of IPTV. The two largest competitive service providers are, of course, Verizon and AT&T, going head to head with each other to compete in this using the telco ISP. In my own perspective, in my own background with using any of those cell phone providers, one thing I've learned is they are very quick to change their technologies to serve a lot of people. So when you look at the cell phone services, you look at it, they used to have 2G, and then they have 3G, and then now there's 4G LTE, and they're very rapidly evolving, and they're very good at customizing subscriptions, customizing cell phone plans, contracts, to make sure that the customer gets a deal, but also they, in the end, in the long run, they get the deal. AT&T is very, very good at and knows communications, from its history with Bell South. So I believe that these two companies have done what it takes to be the top two largest competitive service providers. And now that the telco ISPs there, those two are coming in with Verizon Fios, which is what Verizon's version of their IPTV, and also AT&T has the AT&T Uverse. And recently, I just looked at my bill, and I'm surprised we're talking about this, but my bill from DirecTV is also correlated with AT&T. So I can already tell you, satellite IPTV is going through and channeling through AT&T as well. So it's very interesting that these two are the two largest, and it's very interesting how they actually got to be at this point. And some of the recent events that we've had here explained by the book in the IPTV, something that's occurred, is mergers. There are going to be mergers. They're going to merge together. Somebody wants to merge with somebody to gain market share. It's going to be popular. It's going to happen. Baumgartner in 2014, he indicated that Verizon has indicated not building their Fios beyond the current local franchisee agreements, which pretty much the local franchise agreements cover about 18.5 million homes. 18.5 million homes. They don't want to build any more beyond that amount. And then so now Verizon will go towards this virtual MSO, which they will sell pay TV service outside of the Verizon Fios territories. So essentially, they're going to make their money back outside those 18.5 million. And so who do they purchase to try to do this? Of course, they went down the road. Intel Media. Intel Media uses a platform which is OnQ, and OnQ is a plugin for your smartphone. So pretty much Verizon is gearing up to become the next generation mobile IPTV service provider. And with Verizon ramping up, and really, really trying to get ahead of the curve here with the mobile, in my opinion, I think that's smart. I think it's definitely really good for the stakeholders at Verizon. I think they're really trying to be futuristic and stay ahead of the game. And with IPTV evolving so quickly, you have to compete to be able to survive in this. And so we're talking about mergers, talking about Verizon, talking about their forward thinking, would say. Comcast is also doing the same thing. And Comcast, they've come out with the X1, their Xfinity, which is what they've been running for a very long time. I'd say Comcast, they are planning to acquire Time Warner Cable with pretty much a price tag of $45 billion. $45 billion, which pretty much will cover 1/3 of the entire U.S. TV households. This is all according to Pharrell. This is a phenomenal number of 1/3 of the United States TV households. And that makes them, the large company will be working very rapidly. They've already made deals with Sony, according to Lieberman on March 10th, 2014. They're moving very quickly and moving very rapidly to try to go ahead and be ahead of the curve on this IPTV. And as Comcast is doing the thing to try to go ahead and win over some of the people that are cutting the cord, so to say, uh, there are some other new IP related video service. The kind of like the next gen cable operator. Layer 3 TV was one of them included in the chapter. According to Baumgartner 2014 K, this platform is said to support live TV on demand content and possibly some DVR services. Yes, TV streamed live events on a streaming service, which is IPTV. It's actually incredible because usually that requires a lot of special services we mentioned earlier. And so essentially, is this like Facebook Live 2.0 or upgraded Facebook Live? Maybe, but one thing we're looking at is TV in the IPTV world. There are bottlenecks if you don't have the special servers. There are going to be crashes, and some of these bottlenecks and crashes, which is a topic in this chapter, can be very catastrophic to you. According to Crachelli, 2014, ABC Network actually went live to stream through their abc.go.com app, and the app actually crashed during a live broadcast of the Academy Awards there in 2014. And it's not just ABC. The NFL has had some problems during the Super Bowl. Fox Networks has had similar incidences. So it does take a lot to be able to stream a live event or DVR an event, something like that. It definitely does take special preparation to be able to do it. So it's not just these major companies who are getting the attention of IPTV. You got to think about other influential human beings or celebrities that are leaders, or also the actors or the singers or artists that can actually influence how IPTV is moving and evolving. According to Patel, in 2014, Discovery Communications and Google targeted influential leaders and persons using the TAP services. TAP, T-A-P-P, is explained by Weprin by an example of using the governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin. She's also the former vice president candidate. She's quite a big following and quite a large pool, that she was actually a perfect candidate to actually have her own independent service, which worked that way. And a lot of people would follow her, so they would watch. A lot of people would watch it, which would still generate traffic or ads, something like that they want to do. So, and other, that's not just Sarah Palin. Other Hollywood actors are launching new shows online, and they're essentially cutting the middleman out, cutting out Verizon, cutting out AT&T, cutting out Comcast, and just go ahead and doing away with that altogether. In my opinion, this could be good. It could definitely open up the challenge of other people that can actually group together and make something. One thing that we'll be seeing, though, is that there'll be a lot of differentiated, or say you need to be regulated by the FCC or somebody to regulate something like that, because not everybody can just have on TV show or a streaming service, and if the popularity of that service determines how well you're going to survive or not. If there's no followers, no subscribers, it may not take off. It might just be a waste of money. So recommended, my perspective, would be something that would regulate these individuals who want to have this type of IPTV streaming service, and then also Verizon, Comcast, and AT&T would have to follow the same suit, because there's got to be one level, keen playing field in order to make this work. All right, so the next two topics in this chapter will be the current status of what's happening, and also what to watch out for will be the other topic, one of the last topics. So currently, IPTV is growing, and it's growing very, very fast. And some of the main beneficiaries are definitely Verizon and AT&T, who are reaping a lot of benefits here with a very large number of subscribers mentioned in the chapter here. And yes, are people cutting the cord? Yeah, the cable cord is going away very quickly. The trend of cutting away from cable is moving much faster than expected. The millennials, either we're not home or we just don't have time to watch it, or then we think it's a waste of money. Either way, we're cutting the cord and we want to go mobile. And so the trend is going, and large winners are going to be the Netflix, the Hulu, the HBO Go, the Apple TV, and all those types of platforms and streaming services. They're getting the traffic and they're getting the subscribers. But one thing that's also changing that affects us is going to be the growing trend in smart TVs. Yes, 4K generated videos are getting important. Yes, Ultra HD TVs are also adding smart apps within those TVs. So what this does is it eliminates the need for an actual Apple TV dock or actual Roku dock. All of that is built into the television itself. And that's a big deal because then you can just turn your TV on and you can get going. My perspective, it works much easier than having to keep up with two remotes. It works easier than having to connect to a wireless router, connect to a different plug-in. Whatever it is, it's one device which is all in the TV, and it sure does work because according to the research from Parks Associates, there will be 70 million U.S. households with a connected TV by 2017. 70 million U.S. households. Okay, that's by 2017. That's in 3 months from today. That's 3 months from today. They'll have 70 million U.S. households with a connected TV, provided that their research is correct. Now, gamers are also going crazy with IPTV because Sony and Microsoft are using the PlayStation and the Xbox One. Those consoles also having the software developed within the console so that way they can just stream directly from the console. So switching from a game to a movie or to a TV show on Netflix or Hulu, it's just seamless and it's one machine with the TV. It all works together. And so streaming has actually become a very, very big deal in the living room, the household, as a form of entertainment. Twitch is also a service there that actually streams video game content. So to explain Twitch, Twitch is something that a person can be playing a game and you can log in to your Twitch account that you subscribe to and watch them play that same game live from your screen at home, and they're playing it on their screen at their home. They're just linked together through the username, email, and that's how they're linked. And you can watch various different types of games being played. So it really is a popular service. It is doing very well. This is a service that actually was launched in 2011. So you have Twitch, who's coming for gamers. You have the TVs who also have built-in apps already. So the current status of IPTV is actually ramping up and is getting really, 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 really competitive to try to get in and as a new entrant can be very difficult now. What to watch for is coming up in the future. Well, smart TVs keep getting smarter, and this is going to keep on happening, keep on happening. So you should watch for the elimination of the actual consoles themselves. Those units, those hardware units that you buy for $99 or $10 or $50 from your local Best Buy, Amazon, Walmart, the sticks that you put on your laptop, those actual devices will be eliminated, and you should look for those to be eliminated because more and more content is going software, built-in software based, and yes, you should watch the television itself. You might want to also watch to see what happens to streaming itself. We might see streaming moving to the automobiles now. You might see streaming moving into our vehicles as we're going to work with the kids in the back. Actually, according to Gracelli, he explains that AT&T has jointly launched an in-vehicle video service, and more content on automobile streaming can be found within that AT&T is joining together. And chapter 13 explains that a little bit, but it is definitely what to watch for is TV going to automobile. That's definitely something that's going on. And on that note, you gotta think about what's going on with IPTV. And my perspective really is, You know, streaming television, it is definitely involved. It is definitely something that's become very personal. It's something that can be individualized. Now that Netflix has separate accounts for your children, husband, spouse, different people like to watch different things on their Netflix profile under one account. Hulu does the same thing. So it's become very personalized, very individualized, and almost very personal approach to entertainment, really. So with all these changes, with all of these things that are happening to it, my question for you is, how will IPTV affect the educational system that we have currently?